Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this large granny square made out of baby blanket yarn. Be great, you know, it wouldn't even take that many to make a regular sized baby blanket, you know, maybe 6 of them together would make it a really cool baby blanket. But they're about 13 inches across both ways, so 13 and a half or so, something like that. Yeah, 13 and a half. So yeah, you could sew these together and make a really cool blanket. I think it's made with the blanket yarn. It's super soft and it's actually pretty easy. It's actually the Sunburst granny square, but I made it with a large yarn and large hook, and I think it turned out really cool. I think it'd make a nice blanket. I might make a few more and sew them together. I'm going to take a minute to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so that way you never miss an update when I put on a new tutorial or a giveaway or yarn shopping video or anything like that. If you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe, and when you subscribe, if you hit that little bell, that way it'll notify you when I put a new video on. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project I'm using Bernat baby blanket yarn, which is a super bulky number 6, and it's the real soft polyester. You can use any type of super bulky number 6 that you'd like. You don't have to use this brand, but if you're going to make this square for a baby blanket, this would be nice to use. And of course you can choose any colors that you like to. I just been using some scraps to make up each square, so I can't really tell you how much it takes for each square, but so I mean, if you're going to make a big blanket, you're going to need several skeins. But and I'm using a size find it here, 15 millimeter crochet hook. Now it doesn't have to be this exact size. I know they make 15.75s, 16 millimeters, you know, something like that, something close to that, to make it about the same size. Okay, you want to start off with the slip knot on your hook. And then you want to work a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Now if you want to use the magic circle here, you can do that too. And now I'm going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Now what I want to do is work 16 double crochets through the center of this ring. So go ahead and yarn over and go right through the center of the ring and do your double crochet. That was 1. 2. 3, and you want to do a total of 16. Okay, once you get your 16 double crochets, what you want to do is slip stitch into your first double crochet that you made. So go ahead and slip stitch into that. Now we're going to change colors here. I always tie off when I change colors. If you want to go ahead and just pull your yarn through to change colors, that's fine. But I'm going to slip stitch and I'm going to clip my yarn, because I always change color or tie off when I change colors. Now if you pull that, you should be able to pull that center circle just a little bit tighter, and then you can sew it the rest of the way at the end if you want. Now I'm going to start a new color. Sorry, my cat jumps in front of the camera. Okay, now you can start your yarn, your new color, in any stitch that you like. So again, go through a stitch and pull your yarn through and go ahead and work a chain of 1. Now that chain of 1 does not count as anything. Now we're going to work a puff into this stitch. So what we're going to do is yarn over, go into the stitch and drop a loop. Yarn over again, go into the stitch, drop a loop, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 5 loops, and then chain 1. And that's what we're going to do in every single stitch all the way around. It's one of these puffs. So again, we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, and drop a loop. Yarn over again, go into the same stitch, drop a loop. You'll have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 5. And then chain 1. Again, jump to the very next stitch and repeat. Yarn over, go in, drop a loop. Yarn over, go into the same stitch again, drop a loop. 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 5 loops. Chain 1. Just like that. So I'm going to repeat that all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Puff into the next stitch. And then chain 1. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get back to the beginning. And when I make it back to the beginning, I should have 16 puff stitches. Okay, I've made it all the way around the end of round 2, and I have my 16 puff stitches. I'm going to go ahead and switch colors again. Make sure you chain 1 after that last puff. I'm going to slip stitch into my first puff stitch, into the top of my first one. So just kind of like right around here somewhere. Doesn't have to be exact. Right about there. Because right here on the side is the chain 1 you did. So kind of go right into the top of the first puff. And even if you did go in that chain 1, it's not going to be a big deal. Go ahead and slip stitch. And I'm going to change colors. And again, if you don't change colors by tying off, you just go ahead and switch colors. Or you can keep going at the same color. That's up to you. Okay, now I'm going to start my blue. We're going to be working in these chain 1 spaces between the puffs. And you can start in any one of those chain 1 spaces. And now we're going to be working clusters. So go ahead and start your yarn by chaining 1. And that chain 1 does not count as anything. So now what we want to do is, this is how we do a cluster. We're going to yarn over, go into the space, and drop a loop. Yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. And you want to do that 4 times. So that counts as the first one. So again, yarn over, go in to the space, drop a loop. Yarn over, go through the first 2. So that's 2 times. Again, yarn over, drop a loop. Go through the first 2 loops. That's 3 times. One more time. Yarn over, go into the space, drop a loop. Yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. And you'll have 5 loops that remain. Yarn over and go through all 5 loops. And then chain 1. And that's how you do the cluster. And we're going to do a cluster in every one of the chain spaces all the way around. So we'll go ahead and go to the next one. Yarn over, go into the next chain space, drop a loop. Yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, and that counts as 1, 2, that's 3, one more time, 4, you got 5 loops left on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 5 loops, and chain 1. I'm going to continue doing this in every one of these chain 1 spaces between the puffs until I get back to the beginning. So one more time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 5, and then chain 1. So I'm going to do that all the way around until I get back to the beginning. Okay, when you make it all the way around, you should have, at the end of round 3, you should have 16 of the clusters now. And make sure you chain 1 after your last cluster here. And then go ahead and end with the slip stitch into the top of your first cluster right here. I'm going to switch colors again, so I'm going to tie off here. It's okay if your piece is flipping up a bit, like mine is. Now I'm going to go back to my white. And you can start that in any one of the chain 1 spaces that you would like. So we're going to be working in the chain 1 spaces. So go ahead and start your yarn. And we're going to square off our circle now. So we're going to start by forming our first corner. So we're going to chain 1, which does not count as anything. And in this space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2. And then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And we're going to go back into the same spot and work 2 more double crochets. And that is our first corner. 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. Now what I'm going to do into the next chain space, I'm going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now in the next chain space, I'm going to work 3 half double crochets. So right through the space, we're going to work 3 half doubles. There's 1, 2, and 3. And then the next space is going to be 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. And now into the next space, we're going to form our next corner. So we're going to put 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles into the next chain space here. So there's 1, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 more doubles through the same space, and that's going to form our second corner, like that. And now what we're going to do is kind of repeat what we just did. So into the next space, we're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. The next space is going to get 3 half double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3. The next space, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then the next space is going to be a corner. So in the next space, we're going to put 2 doubles, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets into that same stitch, and that'll be our third corner that we've got done. Now we're going to repeat again: 3 doubles, 3 half doubles, 3 doubles, and then a corner. 3 doubles, 3 half doubles, 3 doubles, and then we'll be at the beginning. Okay, when you make it back at the end of round 4 here, you should have a total of 52 stitches now, and you'll have 4 of the chain 2 spaces. So you want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into your first double crochet, Now I'm going to go around again. This time I'm going to be putting 1 double crochet in every stitch, except for the corners. We'll do the 2 double, chain 2, 2 doubles. So I'm going to start off by chaining 1, which does not count as anything, and I'm going to go right back here into the same stitch that I slip stitched into and do a double crochet, and then a double crochet into the next stitch. And now I'll be at my chain 2 space, my corner here. So right into the chain 2 space, I'm going to work 2 doubles. There's 1, 2, and then I'm going to chain 2 again and work 2 more doubles into that same chain space. Just like that. And now I'm going to continue working 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get to my next corner. So I want to go into the next stitch. Sometimes it hides, so make sure you pull these over, because your first stitch is right here, and sometimes it hides, so you want to make sure you get it. Go ahead and double crochet into that. If you don't get that one, your square will be kind of lopsided. And now it's just 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to your next chain 2 space. When you get to your next chain 2 space, it'll be the same thing that we did over here. 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. Okay, I've made it to my next chain 2 space, so go ahead and do your into the chain space and work your 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles into the same chain space. Like that. And then we're going to continue putting 1 double crochet in every stitch across until we get to our next chain 2 space. Remember not to forget this very first stitch, because sometimes it hides underneath the stitches at the corner. So we're just going to keep repeating this pattern all the way back to the beginning. 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to your chain 2 space. And in the chain 2 space, you just put 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. And then continue all the way around with 1 double crochet in every stitch. Okay, once you made it to the end of round 5, you should have a total of 68 stitches now. What you want to do is end with the slip stitch into your first double crochet. And I'm going to tie this color off, and I'm going to go around it one more time with a row of single crochet. So I'm going to switch back to my purple color. And you can keep going around in that same manner that we just did on that last round for as big as you want your square to be. But I'm going to go ahead and start in any one of the 4 corners. Go ahead and start and chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. What we're going to do is work in this chain 2 space, and we're going to work 2 single crochets. So there's 1 and 2, and then we're going to chain 2 and work 2 more single crochets. So it's kind of like what we just did, except for we're doing it with single crochets instead of doubles. And now I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch across. And always remember, make sure you get this first stitch, because sometimes it does hide. So I'm just going to keep working 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get to my next chain 2 space. Oops. Alright, now when you get to your next chain 2 space, we're just going to do the same thing. 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then a chain of 2, and then 2 more single crochets through that same space. Like that. And then continue. Make sure you get to this first stitch, working 1 single crochet again in every stitch till you get to your next corner. Next corner is 2 single, chain 2 and 2 single, and just repeat that pattern until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 6, and what you want to do is go ahead and slip stitch into your first single crochet, not that chain one, but the first single crochet. And now you should have a total of 84 stitches. You want to go ahead and tie that off, and then we want to hide any remaining tails that we have. I always take my square and kind of shape it up by pulling the corners out of it and the sides. But that's it. I gotta hide my tails and stuff, but that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also, if you make this or anything else, I'd like to see a picture. You can post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And until next time, have a good day.